Okay, one thing that I notice, okay, now on Facebook, I follow a lot of different things. Now, one that comes up on my Facebook a lot, I don't know if you lot have ever seen it, but it's a thing called Brightside. They put out a lot of tips, a lot of weird and wacky ideas, and sometimes it's generally just really funny, and sometimes it's like, oh, that's interesting, I can try that. Um, Sometimes it's arty crafty, sometimes it's just silly little facts and weird things. But this time of year, what they tend to do is they put out these weird safety tips. I don't know why, but they always put it out for women. And the weird thing is, they're not the only ones who do it. I follow loads of different things. I don't just follow like people who create skits. I follow loads of different things um, designed for all sorts of different reasons. Um, the thing is, they all do it. They bring out these weird sort of, you know, art or craft things and how to do certain things or just funny information about certain things. I follow a lot of things like that because it makes life easy. I mean, having an autistic in the house, you need to be able to think on your feet, and you can't always. I follow a lot of autistic pages because you need to. Staying in touch with the autistic community is always a must. But I do follow Brightside and a lot of other pages like it. I have done for years because when they first started, they were actually kind of interesting. I just haven't stopped following them because I can't be bothered. But I do notice over the years that they've become very one-sided. Um, and sometimes what they put out is really kind of okayish. Sometimes what they put out is a little bit interesting and a bit. Sometimes what they put out is downright ridiculous. But this time of year specifically, they put out safety tips: how to be safe in the street, or how to be safe when you're travelling, or how to be safe when you're doing this, or how to be safe. The thing is, they are always one-sided. It is very much how women can be safe when they're doing this. If women are travelling alone, if women are in groups, if women are doing this, if women are doing that. And it's never changed. Now, 20 years ago, when Facebook first started, I never thought anything of it. It never occurred to me that that was wrong. Well, I mean, it did occur to me that there was something a little bit biased about it, but, you know, in society as it was, it didn't strike me that that was anything that should really be changed, because society was telling me that actually that was normal. Nobody cared that advertisements were that way inclined. But 15 years later, they're still doing it, and now we're in 2024. Yeah, and I'm like, we're at the end of 2024, and they're still doing it. You think you need to move with the times when 20 years ago, advertisements like that were acceptable in society, and they were. They were very biased, but they were acceptable. 10 years ago, they were extremely biased and only just acceptable. You know, there was a massive movement going on 10 years ago where people were actually actively fighting for a more equal society for men. You know, for men to be recognised in society, you know, as equals. We're now in 2024 and at the end of 2024, and Brightside is still bringing out advertisements that state it just for women. And you just think, what the hell? Why? Why is that still an acceptable thing? And I was reading through some of the comments, and there were very few that queried it. And I'm like, what the hell? Why was there nobody querying this message? how women should be safe. 11 tips for women to be safe out on the street. Why was there hardly anybody in the comments actually questioning that message at the end of 2024? It is like nobody paid attention to it. Nobody saw it for what it actually was. Not only was it exceptionally biased, but it was a completely wrong message. It should never have said women. It should have said how to stay safe when you're out in the street. It should never have even had a gender on there. Especially in 2024, when we are living in a society when you have, when the LGBTQ plus society, community is very, very strong in our society, that to actually put the title women, when you have asexuals, the bigenders, the non-binaries, the asexuals, the ones out there that don't want to associate themselves with a gender, however they want to actually associate themselves. You have men, you have women, you have non-binaries, and you have people out there that actually do not want to associate themselves with a gender. To actively turn around and say, 11 tips for women to stay safe. And I'm like, what the hell? How is that acceptable in this day and age? And nobody questioned it, nobody queried it, nobody acknowledged the fact that they even dared to say that. I'm like, duh. Why? Why? It bugs me a little bit. We have come so far in society that they should never have gotten away with that. They should be getting so much backlash for that. But they're not. There should have been hundreds of comments giving them hell for that. But people were just agreeing. I'm like, what the hell? Where is the outrage? Why are people not pulling them up on the fact that they are wanting just women to stay safe out in the streets? For a start, it's just not women, for a start, that are unsafe in the streets. There are men too. That's an odd concept. Let's equal that out for a start, because even 20 years ago, it's actually scientifically proven that men are in more danger in the street than women are. That has actually been proven. There was a study that was done. Now, I can't remember all the details. I will have to look it up at some point. I'll probably forget. But look it up. There was a study done on a while ago. I can't remember how long ago. But I do remember reading it. I can't remember when. Several years ago. I think my mum brought it up. Because we were having a conversation, which was rare for us. I think wasn't the last time she came down. I think it was the time before that. We were sitting at the flat, which again, rare for us. I think because, we were having a conversation, and it came out in that conversation that there was a study done so it was a few years ago, because obviously I haven't seen my mother for a couple of years. It has been a few years, about 5-6 years, possibly maybe more. But it's been several years. But I do remember that there was a study done that showed that men were more at risk than women being attacked, because men are more aggressive than women. And so actually they were actually more at risk. It's a bit like how women are better drivers, and they don't come for me, because that's scientifically proven as well. Go check that out. There was a study done about that as well. So you can't come. You probably will come for me for that, but actually it was scientifically proven That is a study. You can check that out too. That actually women are better drivers than men. That was actually proven scientifically. And again, it's one of those things, because men are more aggressive. The testosterone, it makes them more aggressive. It does. Check it out. It's scientifically proven. There are actually scientific studies that actually show that because of the testosterone, certain times in men's lives, they're actually more prone to certain things like aggression, violence, and things like that. And I'm not saying all men, because it's not all men, and I know it's not all men, but it is a thing that science does prove, that men are more prone to violence, men are more prone to being attacked in the street, men are more prone to car accidents. It's men are men are women are better drivers than men, scientifically proven. It's women are safer on the street than men are. That's been proven scientifically. Now, I can't remember the study and I can't remember what it was, but I do remember having that conversation, and it was with my mother, which is a very strange thing. I think that's why I remember it, because it's very rare that I actually have a conversation with my mother. I think it just is. Now, me and my mum, we don't talk that often because, quite frankly, I don't see her that often, and it's just, I don't. I love my mother dearly, but I love my mother from a distance. Me and my mum, she's lovely, I love her, but we are better at a distance. But reality is, the few times that we have spent time together, we can have some really interesting conversations. But I think this one, I think I was actually with my aunt and my uncle at the same time as well, so we were actually having a really interesting conversation. So yeah, so I think it came out then. But like I said, it was years ago, because I haven't seen my mum for a few years, because what with her work and with her moving up north, and so yeah, so she's moved about a bit. She's now up with my other sister, so she's up there. So now that she's all the way up there, I can relax. And now my other sister's moving up there as well, so she could be closer to them, which is fine. They love her. They like spending time with her. It's all good. So I'll have 2 of my sisters up there and 3 of my nieces. With my mother, that's fine. They can all spend time together there. They can keep her company. But like I said, so there was an actual study done that men are actually more at risk than women out in the street. So check it out, find it. Let me know what you say, what you found. And if I'm wrong, let me know. But I don't think I am. I do remember this conversation, and I do remember knowing that men are more at risk than women. But the reality is, they didn't even add that men and women. It was just all about women. And they do it a lot. And if you actually find that no matter where you go, even the advertisements you see all over the telly, if you actually pay attention to the advertisements on the telly, you know, like the ones asking for charity donations, take a real good look at them, really listen to them. Now, we can't all support every charity that goes, especially at this time of year. We all have our own issues to deal with, our own finances and our own personal problems, especially in this economy. And there is no shame if you cannot support, you know, every charity across the frigging globe, you know, or even if the one charity you can support, you can only put a couple of quid in, you know. It's not a shame, and you shouldn't feel bad about it, and nobody should ever make you feel bad for how much or how little you could put into any charity donations, you know. But I don't support a lot of the international ones, but I do support things like the guide dogs, because my gran were blind, and obviously I am going blind. I do support things like the Autism Society and the ADHD societies and things like that, because obviously what with my son and my niece, things like that I do support, but I can't put loads of money to them, but I do put a little bit to them. But they are things that I do support, purely because they are very close to me. But the international ones I don't generally, because I can't do everything. But the reality is, when you actually listen to them, especially this time of year when they are everywhere, they focus on the girls. These girls they put forced into marriage. Oh, these girls, we should send the girls to school. And they are every time. And you actually listen to them. They are actively asking you to send girls to school, actively asking you to stop the children's marriage, child marriage in foreign countries. They're actively asking you to stop the child marriage for the girls. Doesn't say anything about whether or not there's child marriages for the boys, though. Because there's absolutely no way, if child marriage is going on in another country, that it's one-sided. If it is one-sided, there is something very, very wrong going on. There's absolutely no way on the face of this earth that a child marriage thing that is going on in one country is one-sided. So if young girls are being forced into marriage, you can absolutely guarantee young boys are being forced into marriage too. And yet all they're doing is focusing on the girls. And they're forcing the rest of the world to focus on the girls as well. And they do that everywhere. They absolutely do that everywhere. They force you to focus only on the girls. And it's horrible because these young lads, these young boys who are also going to be you can't turn around and say in a country that is only being designed for, I mean, if I'm wrong that in a country that has child marriage in it, only young girls are being forced into it. Okay, there is something seriously wrong with the laws in that country for a start. And if child marriage is illegal in that country, then why are they putting it all over the telly for a start? But if it's legal in their country and then actively asking for help for the young girls, and it's legal, why are only the girls being forced into it? Not the boys. See, that to me, it looks a little dodgy. It does. It looks extremely dodgy if they are legally allowing child marriage, but only for one gender. That to me, and then they're going to ask for money to help that gender they're going to force into marriage, legally force into marriage. That to me looks very, 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 very dodgy. So the reality is they can't just be forcing the girls into child marriage. They're just only asking for money to help the girls they're forcing into marriage. There must be boys who are being forced into marriage. There's got to be boys that are being forced into marriage as well. But they're just not telling us that there's got to be. Because if they're legally allowing young girls to marry and then asking for our help to keep those girls in school, there's something wrong. Very wrong. But if they are legally allowing child marriage, and then why isn't it that they're asking for help for the boys? What's the difference? I mean, seriously, what's the difference? I mean, if the girls need our help, why don't the boys? There is something a little wrong there to me. It just sits very wrong for me that they are legally allowing child marriage and then asking for our help for the girls that they are allowing to marry. But only for the girls that they are allowing to marry, and don't say anything about the boys. To me, that says something's very, very, very wrong in that country. Either that, or it's illegal for the girls to marry, and then they're actively asking for help. And if that's the case, there is something really wrong with that country. And I think there's something even worse going on in that country, and somebody needs to be doing something. So it's not a case of getting charity aid to them. It's a case of, you know, people like the EU or NATO or Commonwealth or, you know, people like that stepping in and trying to deal with it, you know, politically, not any other way, obviously, but, you know. So if it is legal for child marriage in that country, why are they then asking for our help to help the young girls and not the young boys? So these charity organisations that are now going all over the TV and these things all over social media are teaching. So, I know I'm going on a bit of a ramble and I know I've gotten a bit kind of but it does kind of irk a bit that the only thing they focus on is girls and women. And they don't ever focus either on men or young boys. And they don't ever, when they produce all these safety tips or produce all these advertisements designed just for, they don't ever produce them for everybody, just for one gender. And it bugs me to hell and high water. It really does. But on a happier note, I am now ready for Christmas. Yesterday I spent like an hour wrapping all the Christmas presents in Pokemon paper because my son has a thing for Pokemon at the moment. So everything is wrapped in Pokemon paper. So it's all done, it's all organised and everything's sorted. And I'm ready for Christmas. I'm so happy I'm ready for Christmas. It's all organised, it's all done, it's all ready, and I'm ready for Christmas. So yeah, I'm so happy I'm ready for Christmas. So yeah. Anyway, I'm going to go, I'm going to stop rambling and I'm going to stop, because I think I'm going around in circles. Anyway, I do love you all and I'll see you all later.